You're going to obey me, or you're going to go on the ground.
Obey you.
52-year-old Mark Domino drove his motorcycle to work and parked on the backside of the parking lot. Mr. Domino and his wife both worked at the same retail store in Clarkston, Washington, and his wife drove their car to work and parked on the opposite end of the lot. After Mr. Domino's shift, he went to his car before crossing the parking lot to ride his motorcycle home. As Mr. Domino was looking through his vehicle, a citizen parked nearby, Jody Brunel, noticed him, believed his actions to be suspicious, and called 911.
Police and fire, this is Mallory.
Hi, I'm at the Clarkston Walmart right now, and I just saw a gentleman stop and get in 3 different doors of a car, looking around, and I kind of watched him to see if it was his, and now he's walking clear away.
Okay.
I couldn't see if he took anything.
Okay.
Officer Chris Lors from the Clarkston Police Department arrived shortly after the call and confronted Mr. Domino.
How's it going, man? I'm Officer Lors, Clarkston Police Department. Put your phone down for a second. What do you got in your pocket there? Is that just something hanging off your backpack? What is that, a hanger? What are you doing with that? Is this your bike?
Yes.
It's your bike? You got ID on you?
Why do you need my ID?
Because somebody saw you looking at cars, so I'm here just checking and see what's going on. You got ID on you?
Yeah, I do, but did I do
I'll
anything?
yeah, I'm figuring that out right now. I'll take a look at your ID, though.
You don't need my ID unless I did something.
Okay.
Unless you're taking me in for something like that.
Turn around, put your hands behind your back right now.
For
now!
For what?
Turn around and put your hands behind your back now!
For what?
Before we get started,
108, pick it up.
please review these
You're gonna obey me, or you're gonna go on the ground.
Why do I need to obey you?
Because I'm giving you a lawful order.
For what?
Turn around and put your hands behind your back.
Did I do anything?
Yes. Turn around and put your hands behind your back.
What did I do?
Do you want to get
Excuse me?
Turn around and put your hands.
For what? Do you know I work here?
Turn around and put your hands behind your back.
Do you know I work here? This is my bike.
Okay.
So what did I do for you to approach me and then tell me that put my hands behind my back?
Sir.
What are you arresting me for?
I'm not arresting you. Right now you're not cooperating with me.
For what?
And you're getting agitated.
You asked me for my ID.
Right.
I don't have to give you my ID.
Okay.
Unless I've done something. What have I done?
Turn around and put your hands behind your back.
For what? Are you arresting me? And for what purpose?
I'm detaining you.
Detaining me for what? Why are you detaining me?
You're not even listening.
What did I do for you to detain me?
Turn around, put your hands behind your back.
Was there a report that I stole something?
Yes.
There was a report that I stole something.
The Supreme Court has long held that officers may acquire reasonable suspicion through an anonymous tip, so long as the tip provides enough information to justify a stop. Officer Lors made no effort to de-escalate the encounter or engage in a productive dialogue with Mr. Domino, and instead began accusing him of stealing and ordering him to comply.
How many cars did he look at?
Just the one.
Just the one.
So that one car, far,
Like my pickup would
a
be
gray
parked.
Chevy Aveo, is registered to him. The same as the bike.
Okay. He could have...
Here, Officer Lors suggests that Mr. Domino could have explained his actions, but at no point during the initial encounter did Mr. Domino have enough information to know what actions led to him being contacted by the police. Although Officer Lors did say that Mr. Domino was reported for looking at cars, he also said that Mr. Domino was being accused of stealing, which likely confused Mr. Domino. Just 32 seconds passed from the point of initial contact to Officer Lors ordering Mr. Domino to place his hands behind his back. Officer Lors made no attempt to corroborate any of the information from the 911 call and shifted the focus of the stop to Mr. Domino's refusal to identify rather than the alleged crime. At no point did Officer Lors make an attempt to understand Mr. Domino's perspective or offer him the opportunity to explain his actions. But let's compare Officer Lors' recollection of the event to what actually happened.
Just wouldn't talk to him?
No, and then he started, like, he was just super agitated. You got ID on you?
Why do you need my ID?
And I'm like, listen, man, so right now you're being detained. Yeah, I'm figuring that out right now. I'll take a look at your ID, though.
You don't need my ID unless I did something.
And he got all jacked up, and so I'm like, okay, turn around and put your hands behind your back. I'm going to detain you.
Unless you're taking me in for something like that.
Turn around and put your hands behind your back right now. Now! You're going to obey me, or you're going to go on the ground.
Why do I need to obey you?
As you can see, there is a vast discrepancy between Officer Lors' version of events and what actually took place. Mr. Domino was arrested and charged with resisting arrest and obstructing a law enforcement officer, and was released a few hours later. After multiple hearings, the trial began in November of 2019, with Mr. Domino deciding to represent himself. After 2 days in the courtroom, Mr. Domino verbally agreed to a plea deal offered by the prosecution, which stipulated that so long as Mr. Domino stayed out of trouble for the following 3 months, all charges against him would be dropped. Mr. Domino later rejected the deal offered by the prosecution and decided to move forward with the case, along with filing a $5 million tort claim against the city. Overall, Officer Lures gets an F for failing to employ any measure of de-escalation during the encounter, neglecting to conduct a thorough investigation, and for misrepresenting the circumstances surrounding Mr. Domino's arrest to his fellow officer. Officer Lures made no legitimate effort to find out what happened before accusing Mr. Domino of committing a crime. If Officer Lures had simply walked over to the vehicle to see who it was registered to before demanding identification from Mr. Domino, the escalation could have been avoided. Mr. Domino gets a B-, because although he did physically resist the officers, he made an attempt to exercise his rights and refuted the criminal case against him by himself with no formal legal training. It is difficult to fault Mr. Domino for his initial resistance to Officer Lures, but Mr. Domino continued to physically resist the officers well after backup had arrived and his arrest was inevitable. 2 City of Brookings police officers stopped 49-year-old Jennifer Gaiman as she traveled home from a night of karaoke with her friends in Brookings, Oregon. Ms. Gaiman, who has been diagnosed with Best's disease with macular degeneration of both eyes, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, asthma, lumbar degeneration causing lower back pain and symptoms, and peripheral neuropathy, was riding her 3-wheeled mobility scooter on the sidewalk when the officers stopped her.
I just want to go home. It's freezing.
It is
Yeah,
cold.
why are you stopping me then? I've been riding this thing for over 2 years
I'm
now.
going to explain it to you in a second. We're stopping you because you're on the sidewalk with it.
Yeah,
you rode
because
through
it
a
is
crosswalk.
It's a legal thing on the sidewalk. Look it up. It's a mobile scooter. It's a mobile scooter.
Okay.
It's an electronic scooter.
Yeah, it's a mobile scooter.
I gotta actually start.
Okay, do you understand what that means? It's my mobile scooter. It's how I get around. I don't have a car. I
So
gotta
it's
go.
electronic.
I'm cold. You guys are cold.
You're not free to leave.
Yeah, I am.
No, you're
No,
not.
you're
Yeah, I am because you legally cannot stop me.
You're lawfully detained right now. You are
For what?
literally on a lawful
For
traffic
what?
stop. You see those red and blue lights?
For what though?
Are you gonna let me explain it?
Yeah, because you don't have a reason to. You guys are legally, you're taking my Disability Act and you're throwing it in the garbage. This is my disability scooter. This is how I get around. And you know that. You've seen me many times around this town riding it.
Okay, are you gonna let him explain to you why you're actually on a lawful traffic stop?
Okay. So we stopped you because it was actually looked up before, okay? You can't ride this in a crosswalk and on the sidewalk.
Are you kidding me?
While Ms. Gaiman and the officers debate whether her scooter is an electronic scooter or a mobile scooter, under Oregon law, both types of scooters are considered a, quote, motor-assisted scooter. Under this definition, both a 2-wheeled standing electric scooter and a 3-wheeled scooter with a seat like Ms. Gaiman's would qualify as motor-assisted scooters. Section 814.524 of the Oregon Revised Statutes prohibits individuals from operating a motor-assisted scooter on a sidewalk except to enter or leave adjacent property. But Ms. Gaiman argues that because she uses the scooter as a mobility device, she is allowed to ride it on the sidewalk.
So the mobile scooters that ride around here, all these old people can't ride them on the sidewalk?
Nope, not according to the Oregon Department of Transportation. I'll look it up for you, just so you can know that I'm not messing with you, and he's not messing
Okay,
with
so
you.
I'll let everybody know that you guys have bad laws in this town, and that people
It's
that have
Oregon.
disabilities.
It's an Oregon
No, you know what?
Department of
That's disabilities. Okay, these people ride these scooters for disability. You want them riding on the streets to get hit by a car? You kidding me? Can I please get my ID back now?
No, you will get it back once we finish.
You asked me to show you what the rules were.
No, I just want to go. I can look them up myself.
No.
I'm cold and I want to go and
Nope.
take a shower.
Oh,
really?
Chelsea West, Senator about California, UT Oregon.
I have no warrants. I have nothing.
Copy.
Thank you. Give me back my ID.
No, you are not free to go right now. You're not free to go until we are finished.
I'm finished with you. I'm not going to say one more word to you.
The officer states that when operating her scooter, Ms. Gaiman is not allowed to ride it in crosswalks or carry passengers, and that she must wear a helmet. While Section 814.528 of the Oregon Revised Statutes prohibits operating a motor-assisted scooter in a crosswalk, requiring that the operator walk the motor-assisted scooter in a crosswalk, it provides a clear exception for individuals with disabilities, stating, quote, "This section does not apply to a person with a disability operating a motor-assisted scooter in a crosswalk." When Ms. Gaiman asks for her ID back, the officers inform her that the stop is not over yet, and over the course of the next 15 minutes, the officers write Ms. Gaiman multiple citations.
Well, I'll go ahead and explain it.
No, I know. I've had a citation.
So here's the deal. I'm going to do
Thank
my job.
you. No, I don't need your job.
Okay.
You're not doing your job, though. You're not serving protecting because listen to those people
So I'm
up there.
trying to issue a citation right now, and
Okay,
you're
okay,
berating
come
me,
on, hurry up.
which is actually causing me to pay more attention and address
Hurry up.
your aggressiveness, which is
Hurry the
preventing me from doing my job.
Yeah, just
So if you try to reach and grab something out of my hand again, you're going to go to jail tonight.
hurry the
You're a police officer. You understand that?
hurry the up.
Okay, that was your warning.
After issuing the citations, the officers informed Ms. Gaiman that she was not permitted to ride her scooter home, which was 1 or 2 miles away, because she was not wearing a helmet. But Ms. Gaiman rode the scooter home anyway. The officers followed Ms. Gaiman home in their patrol cars with their lights and sirens on, and arrested her in her garage for attempting to elude police and interfering with an officer. Criminal charges were brought against Ms. Gaiman in Curry County, and on May 8, 2019, a jury convicted Ms. Gaiman of attempting to elude a police officer, which is a Class C felony. A judge sentenced her to 5 days in jail and 18 months of probation, but Ms. Gaiman appealed the conviction. On March 17, 2020, Ms. Gaiman filed a lawsuit in the Federal District Court for the District of Oregon. Ms. Gaiman's complaint alleges that she was unlawfully detained and arrested without probable cause in violation of the 4th and 14th Amendments, and that she was discriminated against based on her disability in violation of Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act. The complaint requests $500,000 in compensatory damages and punitive damages in a, quote, fair and reasonable amount to be proven at trial. Overall, the Brookings Police Department officers get a C-, because although a majority of their conduct was within the bounds of their authority, the officers exercised poor discretion, ignored relevant facts of the encounter, and neglected to consider the practical implications of their demands. Ms. Gaiman also gets a C-, because although she may have been a victim of police misconduct, she likely broke the law by riding her scooter without a helmet, and she did break the law by refusing to stop for the officers and leading them on a low-speed pursuit. It is difficult to fault Ms. Gaiman for her attitude considering the context of the interaction, but her decision to lead the officers on a chase was childish and highly illegal.